Hello, everybody, and welcome to a quick reaction video to Final Fantasy XVI. I am your host, Sir Duncan, and this is my lovely co-host and good friend, Dylan.
Dylan. That's me.
Yeah. How's it going, Dylan?
It's going. I mean, you can't be a bad day when you have a Final Fantasy game announced. There's
only
16 of them. Only 16 days that's happened.
There's only 16 Final Fantasy games, definitely. There's definitely not any, spin-offs or remakes or ports or anything like that. Yeah, only numbered titles. We only play numbered titles here. Wait, is that true?
I don't know. Unless you count remake.
I don't know if I've played any spin-offs to completion. Regardless, we're gonna just sort of talk about it. We're gonna watch it.
Over days as a spin-off.
We're gonna watch it, and then we're gonna sort of talk over it. It's not gonna be too in depth. I'm not gonna be like pulling up things to compare. We just kind of want to just give our thoughts on it as two Final Fantasy fans. So
we're both very knowledgeable. So about Final Fantasy specifically, we've played every single game, including 8 especially.
Well, no, we've played every single game collectively between us. Like, like I've beaten 1, Dylan's beaten 2, I've beaten 3, 4, 5, Dylan's beaten 6, 7, 8. We've both.
You're gonna be like, I've beaten 1, Dylan's beaten 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. We do have Final Fantasy VII Remake on the channel. It hasn't been updated in a while, but Dylan and I have actually recorded the rest of the game. But we can get into that later. Let's just watch the video and let's kind of give our. We've already seen it, so it's not like a blind reaction, but we can kind of just sort of talk about our thought process as the video sort of plays. Interesting stuff. It's definitely not the kind of trailer where it just is like a title screen. There's some deep shit in there.
Although I will say a couple things. Firstly, the game does kind of look. It doesn't look like next gen. You know what I mean?
True.
But I think that's fine. I kind of like it. Kind of still has that sort of like Final Fantasy IV, Final Fantasy VII Remake, but just a little bit better, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
I like that it's not quite 100% realistic.
When I was watching this trailer, I first knew it was a Final Fantasy game when the chocobos popped out.
I didn't get into this trailer because I was at work at the time, and I didn't turn the trailer. Oof, dude, he's fucking dead.
There's so many people just dead in this game.
I didn't turn this on until right like now-ish, like right around this point. But it seems like the plot line for this is that these children are like I think they said dominants, and then which is essentially I think summoners, or they turn into the summons of this game, which I think are called icons. That's kind of what I've been gathering from the trailer. So it seems the blonde-haired kid is Phoenix, and that gray-haired girl closely resembles Shiva. So it seems like that might kind of be where this game is going.
Yeah, it seems like it's very summon important. Like 15 was pretty summon important, but this one even more so somehow.
Right. And a lot of people have mentioned, and the more I look at it, the more I agree. It's very similar in terms of like style and tone, and like it even looks like it might even be set in the same world as Final Fantasy XIV. The producer is the same guy who I think directed the like fixes to Final Fantasy XIV. So
yeah.
But like I noticed. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I wasn't gonna say anything interesting.
Okay. God, that kid's gonna have some issues.
A lot of blood there.
In the combat here, and we can go over it later, it seems like our main character is kind of taking on different elements of different summons.
I did notice
he had like a flame wing, so maybe part of Phoenix. He had some yellow fists, so probably Titan. So I don't know what he's doing. Maybe it's some with the crystals that they talked about later. I could see that going on.
I do like that this seems to kind of be high fantasy. And I will say, I think my immediate reaction to the trailer was very, very positive. But more like on other rewatches, there's more things I noticed that I don't like, but it's not to a point where I'm like not excited. I'm still incredibly excited. There's just things that I'm a little bit more nervous about upon subsequent rewatches.
Sure.
Like the fact that we only get to see one player fighting. I don't want this to be a one character game. a big part of Final Fantasy for me is having a party, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we just control one character, I'd be a little disappointed.
I'm sure we'll have a party at some point.
But I did see some people were saying that like when Lightning's first trailer showed up, she was alone. Noctis was basically alone in his first game, so who knows?
I just want to give a focus on the fact that last shot was super interesting because it seems like we're going to be playing this guy at 2 different periods.
Yeah,
when he's all nice, and then the kid's gonna die, and then he's gonna grow up.
Yeah, I mean that really does. Like, if you even look at this like picture here, right? Because now that we've watched it one way all the way through, I think we're gonna start skipping back through. But you can see like up in the top left, that's the Phoenix that the kid turns into, and this is what I assume is the Ifrit of this game,
or Behemoth.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess it could be either. I mean, I guess I lean towards it being Ifrit purely because this seems to be pretty classic Final Fantasy summons. We've got Shiva, Titan. Well, I guess Phoenix is kind of out there, isn't it? Yeah, you might be right. You might be right. Yeah. It's tough to tell if that's Ifrit or Behemoth.
They're similar. They're both
excuse me,
4-legged creatures that are, and this Ifrit's a little different than some other games. Some games he walks on 2 legs.
Yeah, I will say.
And 15.
So I did see some comparisons between this game's Shiva and the Shiva from Final Fantasy 14, and she does look decently similar. On closer inspection, there are a lot of differences, but she still looks pretty similar.
She looks good. I mean,
and
she looks cold. I mean, hot.
This Titan looks a lot better than the Titan in 14, though. The Titan in 14 is garbage. I am not a fan of the design of Titan in 14. I like that guy.
Very rock.
I like that guy dying. It almost feels like there's, like, you're right, like there's going to be 2 games. Because this first section feels very different from the latter section. This bit with the, like, it seems like this, like, I think they said dominant, like, hunting force.
Mm-hmm. They might be trying to pull a 15, but good. Not that 15 was bad, but they made a poor choice in doing the future aspect for like a chapter.
Yeah, I mean, even with like the updates, they still just didn't add enough to that. I honestly think that it seems like they almost meant to have that be like where the multiplayer section could be. You know what I mean? Like that's like in that new world that's what 15 years in the future. Spoilers.
Yeah.
I guess I now have to say spoilers for Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah. If you haven't played it by now, that's fair. It's not that long, that old of a game.
See, I do like the design of this, but I will say, again, one thing that I noticed on like other rewatches is it does seem fairly high fantasy generic-ish. So I'm hoping that the more that we get to see of it, the more sort of charm and character that we get from the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that it's very like Witcher.
Yep.
Less so Dragon Age, but
this fight with the Marlboro kind of looks very Dragon Age-y because of like the lighting.
Yeah.
And this character seems interesting. Like I like her design. And I'm interested to see how she shows up like in the series.
She's clearly going to corrupt the king by being the advisor that's not evil, but it's clearly evil.
Yeah, so who's this guy, do you think? He kind of looks like the main character, right?
Could be his dad.
And then there's this dude / lady in the background.
That could be his dad.
I feel like it could be his dad.
And the dude or the lady in the background could be his, like, I don't know, like his dad.
I do like seeing this dragoon here. I was actually getting some like Bravely Default vibes from this a little bit, like in terms of like like the general style of it kind of fits the aesthetic of Bravely Default, and there's a lot of similar enemies. Like that looks like a coral, Coeurl, like a cat coral, which there's a lot of in like Bravely Default and also Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it seems like those two draw from a lot of the same kind of.
I think that's
Titan.
I think that's Titan.
Fair.
So not here. So that's Phoenix. right? And then this looks like Titan's arms from that earlier scene. So I think you're totally right.
Which is dope. That's the story, whatever. We'll find out more about it, but the combat looks great.
I do like how the combat looks. I am worried it might end up too actiony and not enough JRPG. Because I think Final Fantasy VII Remake hit a really good balance for me personally. At first, I wasn't really into it, but as the game went on, I got more and more used to it, and now I really, really like it.
Sure. Yeah, it's hard to strike that balance, but
if they do go more action heavy, then that's just a Final Fantasy game that's a little bit more action heavy. We've got games like Project Octopath. We've got games like Octopath Traveler and Bravely Default and Dragon Quest to fulfill that turn base. So.
Well, one interesting thing that we see here is he's not fighting any human characters, at least not in this trailer. It's all monsters,
he does fight
different.
He does fight one.
True. He fights that one dude, but it doesn't seem like there's any...
he fights the Dragoon.
The Dragoon. It doesn't seem like there's any just like roaming around, any random encounters. I'm sure there are, but they don't show any of them.
I am curious to see if this is going to end up being an open world game or not. Because it's tough to tell with a trailer like this. You know who I think just died there? I think that's this main character's dad who just died there.
The one who's sitting down?
Oh, wait. I just realized something.
Ugh.
I think this guy here, right?
Yeah.
That's that guy who just got stabbed to death. Right? Here. Work through me with this. I think this is a... So this character here, this is the young character, right? The young protagonist.
Right.
Because he's got like that. He's got like that white blazer, and this is still him, right?
Yeah.
And now here, this is like either his older version or somebody else.
Or maybe like an outfit change or something.
No, I don't think this is the same character. But I do think that guy who dies is probably like maybe like the main character's dad.
Yeah, it's probably someone important. They wouldn't just chop off the guy's head in front of one of the main plot devices.
I wonder who that is. I think that's the Ifrit Behemoth guy, whoever that is.
That's impossible.
But I am interested. I think this game looks really good. I do get the feeling, and I think some people were kind of led me down this direction. It does seem like it's going to be a ways out. Because the little thing at the beginning said this is emulated on PC, which usually is like code for very early in development, is what I was reading on Twitter. So
yeah. And it's also, I mean, it's Final Fantasy games seem to have a pretty long development. At least with 15.
But I do like this. Come follow me.
I'll kill you if it's the last thing I do.
It seems like overall the game's going to be about summons and people unwillingly being taken over by summons, and kind of like the Ninetales from Naruto. Where my Naruto fans at?
Yeah, where my Naruto fans at? Woof woof. Rasengan. Pew 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 pew. Shadow Clone Jutsu.
At the beginning, I think we see a bit about how different summons are used for different war efforts, and you got to go kill the different summon people. Why are you watching this?
I just was thinking about like how things change, and I wonder how far out, because I think this was 6 years from this trailer to when 15 came out.
Right.
So I'm just like
15 changed. So.
Yeah. I know that's different from what we're gonna see here, but I'm just wondering like how similar that could be in terms of like how things change. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. This one seemed so strange.
I mean, this is such Yoko Shima music here, right? It's just very Kingdom Heartsy. And then like I just noticed this bit here, That is the pose Sora has in all the Kingdom Hearts 3 box art.
Oh, absolutely.
Anyways, let's go back to Final Fantasy 16. I don't think that was actually the trailer I was thinking of. I was thinking of that one trailer where he fights all the what did I do wrong? Oh no, versus 16. That's not a thing. Let's see, where is it again?
Chat.
So 16 Square Enix.
We can only hope they change it to versus and then to 17.
All right, here we go. Back at it. Well, what do you think of the most recent Final Fantasy games to come out? It was Final Fantasy 15. It was Final Fantasy 7 remake, and then I know you haven't played 14, but 14 is like the other one that's been most updated recently.
What was your question?
What do you think of recent Final Fantasy?
Oh, well, it's hard to say because I liked Final Fantasy 15 a lot.
Yeah, we did get to play it together, which was awesome.
Right, and that's probably part of the reason I like it a lot because I played it with someone else.
Right.
And then 7, the remake of it, I thought was done excellently, but it's hard for me to say because 7's my favorite game of all time, the original.
That is true. So that does add a lot to it.
14's fine.
Yeah, watching this trailer does make me want to actually, because I beat A Realm Reborn, right, in Final Fantasy 14, and then I was planning on just kind of taking a break for a while, but now I might try to get through it again. I'm trying to remember what the next, because like people say Heavensward, which is like the story that was written by the guy who's writing the story for this game, I think. That game, apparently that has a very, very good story. And then Shadowbringer, and then like Stormblood is like supposedly okay, and then Shadowbringers is really good. So I'm curious to play those sort of in preparation for this game to see like what I might expect from these producers and the people who have worked on that game.
You might have a couple of years to get through them. So.
That's true. Because this is I was reading online, this is the Creative Business Unit 3, I think?
Yeah.
Which is the people who made...
Third one?
They're the people who made the Final Fantasy 14, who fixed it and did all the expansions. And I think they're also the people who did like one other game.
They did
I can't remember.
Devil May Cry.
No, that's the guy who's doing the battles for this game.
Oh, okay.
That's why this game looks like it. No, it's Creative Business Unit 3 is one of Square Enix's main teams. But they're like the third stringers who were so successful with how good 14 was that have like been now given the helm for like a Final Fantasy 16 title.
Now they're the first stringers.
Well, the first stringers I think are working on Remake 7, like Part 2.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That one's, yeah. We got to get some people on that because that's going to take a while.
I mean, Square Enix is really like, they have a lot coming up right now. They've got Bravely Default 2. They've got this game now. They've got Part 2 somewhere. We don't know when. They've got what were the other things that they've got?
They've got The World Ends With You too.
Right, of course. Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yeah. They're directly making The World Ends With You anime.
Sora versus Phoenix Wright.
Layton versus Final Fantasy.
Yeah, of course. Can't forget that. It is too bad that the Japanese trailer doesn't have any additional content in it. Because a lot of time with Square Enix, the Japanese trailer tends to like have a little bit of extra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Do we think that Final Fantasy 16 is going to come out first, or Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2?
I think it's going to be Remake Part 2. Surprisingly.
Maybe.
Oh, and Nier Replicant, and also that Project Athia. Those are the other two. Actually, you know what? I think it's related enough. Let's go look up Project Athia real quick.
Okay. Yeah, this is something that they announced at something I don't know.
This was at a state
and some
of...
people thought it'd be 16.
Yeah, some people thought this would be 16, including me, and it still could be. That's I think that's important to remember, but I don't think it is because it's done by Luminous, right? Who are the people who did like 15, I think. Like that's like the Luminous engine, right? Was what 15 and 13 were built on or whatever.
Well, what they're probably doing is they're probably making this game and then 16 and then 7 remake and then Kingdom Hearts and then they're gonna make like the Square Enix game where they put them all together.
Well, like I've said before, I do legitimately think that the Kingdom Hearts and World Ends With You and maybe and other Square Enix properties that Nomura has worked on are all gonna come together. Like I think he's really pushing to make his own connected universe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, this does have like a Final Fantasy vibe to it.
Totally.
But it is weird that they called it Project Athia then, if it is a Final Fantasy game.
Well, yes, but that working title is what gets me.
Right, like they could change it to something else. They did also say when they had Project Octopath though, like Octopath Traveler was originally called Project Octopath.
True, but there was also Project Dolphin. That was the GameCube.
Well, I think it's really funny because like I only found that out because of the Dolphin emulator.
Yeah, same. That's the only reason I remember it, at least.
Well, I don't know. I'm interested. I wonder, like, the tattoo on his cheek clearly means he's part of this group.
Yeah, this could be our gang.
Is this the same? I honestly, I hope it's not a group of, like, 5 guys again. Because, like, again, the boy band was fun, but it'd be nice to have a more wider variety of characters.
Sure, change it up.
I brought this up when I was playing 7, or when I was playing 10. Now, what game was it? Was I complaining about 12, I think? Because I think it's cool how so many Final Fantasy games have such a weird cast. You've got, like, the main character, and then you've got, like, people like in 9, for example, you've got Vivi. You've got,
the cook.
The fucking weird-ass cook, the Rat Dragoon, You've got interesting party members. In 7, you've got Red 13 to kind of like be and Kate Sith as like these sort of different characters. So I was sort of disappointed by how 12, the only weird character is Fran, and she's basically just a human with bunny ears and weirdly long arms. And then 10's kind of the same way. It's like mostly a normal cast, and then also that one blue dude.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, because
I
have everybody with me except for Aron and Riku at the part that I'm at right now. So.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's similar, but the blue dude is blue, so that helps.
I will say though, this Dragoon does look like tall enough to like maybe not be a human. You see what I mean?
You think?
He like kind of.
Definitely. Yeah.
He looks like fairly large.
Like a giant race.
Yeah.
A race of maybe it's a race of Amazons. Ooh.
So that's a betrayal, right? Like there's some sort of betrayal there that leads to that.
Maybe, or just maybe like a betrayal of letting rogues into the monastery.
Oh my god, he just turned into a phoenix! What the fuck, man? Oh my god! What? There we go. That was my trailer reaction for the trailer.
Maybe that's not a person. That little thing, the little person form that we just saw. Maybe it's like the spirit of one of the summons. I don't know.
But I think that's probably good. We've watched the trailer like 15 times now.
At least, well, we should watch one more then, right?
I think I'm just gonna let it play to the end, and then that'll be it.
Okay.
This is already a lot longer than I thought it was gonna be. I was like expecting us to talk for like 10 minutes, but I guess we had a lot to discuss.
Yeah, it's an interesting trailer, but I think we hit most of the points. It's compared to games, it's certainly, from this trailer at least, a lot darker. Not just in terms of color, because there's a lot of nighttime scenes, but a lot of blood.
There was a lot of blood. I did notice that.
People's heads getting turned, and that Ifrit, if I saw that in an alleyway, I'd run the other way.
Dude,
if I saw a flicker from like 10,
dude, if I saw that fucking Phoenix in an alleyway, boom, I'm gone. That's it. I'm done.
if I saw that Titan, boom, I'm getting smashed by a rock like that guy from the beginning of the trailer.
But yeah, I guess that's that. As I'm sure you've noticed, I have been phasing in and out due to excitement. Basically,
for the Packers specifically.
Go Pack, go! No, for Final Fantasy 15. Oh, you can see what I've been watching lately. Lots of Taskmaster.
Ooh, Tails.
Some internet historian there. Shion, I guess. Where's I don't even know why Tails is up there. But yeah.
Because it's a good game.
Again, thank you everybody so much for watching. Really appreciate it.
Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment what your favorite part of the trailer was.
Dylan and I are really looking forward to Final Fantasy 16 when it eventually comes out.
Hell yeah.
I mean, we're also probably going to play Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2 together.
Hell yeah. We're also going to play 13 Sentinels.
Yeah. When 13 Sentinels comes out next week, we are planning to play together. So if you enjoyed our AI The Somnium Files Let's Play, which a surprising number of people have, every time I look, those numbers just keep going up, and I'm very happy about that.
Serious.
Yeah, but make sure you guys tune into that. I think it comes out on the 22nd next week. Of course, Emily and I are still doing our Persona 4 Golden playthrough. We did actually just recently lose a bunch, like the audio for like 5 episodes.
Ooh.
So we're gonna have to I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna re-commentate over them, but it's been tough. But yeah, Dylan, thank you for joining me. You're a good friend.
Thank you for having me.
And like we always say at the end of every episode, water, life-giving nectar of the gods.
Oh, water.
Oh, I think I fucked it up.
Godspeed, pilgrims.
I think I fucked it up. Godspeed, pilgrims.